Okay, so today we are going to be talking about graphing linear equations and solving kind of ish. Mostly, we're going to be talking about how to use Desmos to graph things for us, so we don't have to do that. Desmos is an online calculator. It is a calculator that is built into your end of year testing. It is a calculator you'll be able to use on your next test here in class. So it's an important tool to be able to know how to use and stuff like that. For the last unit, we were just graphing equations by hand. So again, equations are written like y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is the y-intercept, right? So when we graphed it by hand, um, we had to have it in this form, had to be in the slope-intercept form, where you can see the slope and the y-intercept. And to do that, you would just start at the y-intercept. So like here, you'd start at -2. So you put a dot at -2. And then the slope is -3, or -3 over 1, right? So you could go down 3, right 1, or you could go up 3, left 1, okay? And then that would be your equation. I'm drawing that vertically, which is why it's not very straight. But there you go. That's my attempt at drawing. Yeah, yeah, great. Anyway, so again, that's how we did it by hand, right? Now, what if we ran into a problem like, not any of these. These are all in slope intercept form. How about something like this, right? Like right there. This is something that is not in slope intercept form. It is in what we call standard form, but we are unable to see the slope in this form. Okay? To see the slope, the y has to be by itself. Now, I'll show you what we could do to do this. I'll do it by hand. This is not something you will have to do. It's good to know, right? But it's not something you have to do. So to get the y by itself, we'd start by subtracting the x, like moving it to the other side, just like, if it was a multi-step equation. It would cancel out here. You'd be left with 3y is equal to 0 minus x, which is just negative x. Okay? And then you would divide by 3 to get rid of the 3 on that side. So those would cancel out. And you'd be left with y is equal to negative x over 3, or more specifically, negative 1 over 3x. Okay? Now, there's nothing adding or subtracting here, so like your y-intercept would just be 0, right? So you would start at 0 and then go down 1, right 3, or up 1, left 3, and your line should look like this, okay? Now that's the important part, because I'm going to now show you guys how we can do this without all that like solving equation business, okay? So what if I wanted to graph that without having to do all that work? We're going to use Desmos. Desmos will do all that work for us. All we need to do is just type in what we have. So to use Desmos, there's a link on your Canvas homepage. There's a link to a scientific and a graphing calculator. You can click on it there, or you can just type in desmos.com/calculator. If you do that, you're going to come up on this screen here. Okay. Now, this is a graphing calculator. You see a coordinate plane over here. There's a spot over here on the left to type in any kind of equation that you want. Now, there's lots of uses for the graphing calculator, but this is like its most basic use, right? So if I wanted to graph x plus 3y equals 0, which is what the equation was, right? There it is. Okay. And you will notice, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, as you guys can see, this goes up, 1, left 3, just like our equation did, or it goes down 1, right 3, just like our equation did. Okay? Going back and looking at our equation, that's exactly what ours did. I mean, it's a little bit straighter. It's a little bit straighter, but it's the same points, right? So it did all that work for us, right? All we had to do was type it in. Now, if you wanted to, like again, basically to graph this without having to like plot the points or whatever, like you're going to look for like a y-intercept and then just look for a point or two where it's hitting an intersection on the grid to graph it on your own page, right? So again, I can come over here and just kind of tap the line and it'll tell me what that point is. -3, 1. Or, this is, 3, -1. So I can see those points and then I can just go back to my page and graph them. So let's look at another example of that with a different equation. So I'm going to X out that equation and we're going to try another one. So let's go back to our graph and let's do this one right here. So 9x plus 4y equals -20. 9x plus 4y equals -20. So 9x plus 4y equals -20. And there's my line. Okay. So, and I can go to where it intercepts the y-axis. Looks like it hits right here at -5. Okay. 0, -5. And the next time it hits an intersection on the grid is up here at -4 and 4. Okay. So there's 2 points. That's all I really need to graph the line. So if I just go back over here, it intercepted at -5 and it hit the point -4 and 4 right there. So that's probably actually the only point that fits on this graph. So that's why, yeah, there's your line. Okay. Pretty tough, right? Let's try another example. Let's look at this one. X plus 2y equals -10. So we'll graph that. So x plus 2y equals -10. So x plus 2y equals -10. Okay, this one's down a little bit. So again, looks like it's hitting at -5, right? Sometimes it's easier to use my cursor than my pen. So, come on, why are you not working? All right, well, it's hitting right here at 0, -5, and right here at -2, -4. It's also hitting at -4 and 3. So it looks like it's going down 1 over 2. So what's happening? So -1 over 2 slope. Which makes sense because you minus the x, yeah, divided by 2. Yeah, -1 over 2. So if we go back to our graph, oh, that's the wrong thing. Right there. It intercepted at -5, and it was going down 1 over 2 or up 1 left 2. So something like that. And that would be our line. Not too tough, right? Okay, if you have any questions or concerns, let us know. We're here to help. We want to help. You just got to ask us, and I will see you guys out there.